Aaron, please.
Thank you, Ms. Amy. Welcome to ICEC Rising Professionals Speak online session. Our esteemed ICEC Chair, Mr. Quador Asante. Our speaker, Ms. Tarusha Ranadewa. Our ICEC Rising Professionals Representative Moderator, Ms. Amy Balboa, and our participants today. Welcome. It is an honor to have our ICEC Chair, Mr. Quador Asante, with us to deliver an opening remark. Allow me to give a short introduction of our ICEC Chair. Okay. Our surveyor, Mr. Quador Asante, has a BSc Honours Building Technology from University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana, 1980. Postgraduate Diploma in Computer Science, Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, in 1989. Postgraduate Diploma Life Cycle Costing, Construction Plant and Equipment, Construction Machinery Training Institute, Pakistan, 1995. MBA in Project Management from Belfort University, United States of America, in 2006. Our ICEC Chair, Mr. Quador, is a Chartered Quantity Surveyor, Chartered Construction Manager, Certified Project Manager, Chartered Arbitrator, SDR Expert, Certified Forensics Auditor, and Procurement Specialist. He is a member in various institutes, and these are the following are: he is a member of ICEC, which stands for International Cost Engineering Council, fellow and past president of Ghana Institution of Surveyors, fellow in Chartered Institute of Building, CIOB, and past chair in Ghana Center. A member of ICS, Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, member of Society of Construction Law, member of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, member of Project Management Institute, a corporate member in International Federation of Surveyors, FIG, and a member of Commonwealth Association of Surveying and Land Economy. Now, our ICEC Chair is a Works Contract Disputes Resolution Facilitator, assessor at the Commercial Division at High Court of Ghana, and a court-connected alternative dispute resolution mediator, and teaches works procurement at GIMPA and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at the graduate level. Our ICEC Chair, a distinguished international fellow of the International Cost Engineering Council, was Region 3 Director, Africa, of the International Cost Engineering Council from 2006 to 2012, and currently the Global Chair of the International Cost Engineering Council, a global professional experts organization comprising quantity surveyors, project managers, controllers, and cost engineers in 45 countries, 150 affiliates and associations, including the USA, Brazil, UK, France, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, China, and Japan, all across the globe. Now, what an achievement our chair is setting a very good example and direction for us all. Now, without further ado, please welcome our ICEC Chair, Mr. Quador Asante, for his opening remarks before our webinar. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this extensive description of my good self. Good morning from Ghana, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to observe all protocols. As the chair of the ICEC or ISEC, I have the honor to welcome you all on behalf of the ISEC Rising Professionals to this 5th virtual session. I wish to express satisfaction on behalf of ISEC for the steps you young professionals have taken so far this year. I'm indeed very grateful to each one of you representing your countries for your tremendous support in coming up with these engaging virtual sessions. Amidst the worldwide pandemic, COVID-19, with these trying times and the new normal that we're experiencing now in the world. I must also thank the organizers of this invitation. For the first time, and particularly Mr. Adenyira Adebola of Nigeria for his intelligence, industry, and integrity in pursuit of my involvement in this particular session. I've been following the achievements of the Rising Professionals Group since its formation under past chair T.T. Chen of Hong Kong, and I must congratulate you all for such a feat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply saddened to inform you that former ISEC chair, Alhaji Chief Dr. Murtala Oladapo, passed away on Saturday, 25th July 2020, and was buried the same day in accordance with Islamic practices. Murtala, as we usually call him, was a wonderful man and made significant contributions to the development of quantity surveying, cost engineering, project management, project controls, professions, not only in Africa, but around the globe. He had a tremendous respect among the ISEC community for his extensive and valuable long-term service to ISEC, which included being ISEC chair for 2010-2012 session, and then the admission of ISEC as an NGO in the roster consultative status with the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, of the United Nations. He played a major role there. He remained an ISEC ambassador ever since. Let us observe a moment of silence in his memory. May he, through the mercy of Allah, rest in peace and rise in glory. Amen. Now let me refer to the previous virtual sessions that you have taken place since April, ably organized by the chair of the ISEC, Rising Professionals, the young ISEC members, and its members. And note that whether sponsored or not, these sessions will be brought to the attention of the key industry players at the council meeting next week. As we all know, there are various reforms under consideration worldwide. Today's speaker, Tarusha Ranadewa, who is reading for PhD in lean construction, is uniquely placed and will surely highlight the key systems, the key trends, current and yet to be used practices for us all to be informed and educated. What is good about ISEC and its young professionals is the international perspective that members bring to these sessions. This session's topic, enabling lean in the construction industry, is very apt as it seeks to build capacity for construction, small and medium enterprises, especially during these hard times. The term lean construction, I understand, was coined by the International Group for Lean Construction in its first meeting in 1993. There were Greg Howell and Glenn Ballard, who were founders of the Lean Construction Institute in 1987, who maintained that lean construction refers to the entire industry and not a phase during which construction takes place. Lean construction is a combination of operational research, practical development in design and construction of practices to end-to-end design and construction process. It is a project-based production process and is concerned with the alignment and holistic pursuit of concurrent and continuous improvement in all dimensions of the built and natural environment. Let me also emphasize that it involves construction, activation, maintenance, salvaging, and recycling. This approach tries to manage and improve construction processes with minimum cost, but with maximum value by considering the needs of users of construction products. Finally, it tends to achieve and maintain its sustainability objectives in all the three facets of the dimensions of the planet, the people, and profit across the entire construction supply chain. Thus, lean construction is for owners, architects, designers, engineers, constructors, suppliers, and the end users. Ladies and gentlemen, with this opportunity that you have given me, permit me to share a few pieces of information of concern to you two from the Council. Firstly, the 2020 Joint International Cost Engineering (ISEC) and Africa Association of Quantity Surveyors (AAQS) World Congress, scheduled to be held in Accra, Ghana from 15 to 21st October, has been postponed due to the COVID situation. The Congress was to have been hosted by the Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Secondly, due to the postponement of the 2020 World Congress, the Council meeting will be held as a virtual one in conjunction with the Virtual Project Controls Expo to be held from 16th to 19th November 2020. Details of this event can be found on the Project Controls website. Thirdly and finally, the 2022 ISEC World Congress will be held in Region 2, Europe, in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. It will be hosted by the Dutch Association of Cost Engineers. Details on the date and venue will be communicated to you in due course. I sincerely hope that we all enjoy today's session and the future ones to come. May you have a successful session. Accordingly, I declare the 5th edition of the Rising Professionals of ISEC virtual session duly open. Thank you for your attention and participation, and I wish you all very, very well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for those encouraging words, Mr. Chairman, Sir Kwadwo, and our deep condolences to the family of Sir Mutala.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for our session proper, as Sir Kwadwo already opened it, I would like to introduce our speaker, who is a lecturer at the Department of Building Economics at University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, where she obtained her bachelor's degree in quantity surveying and currently reading her PhD in Lean Enabling Capacity Building for Construction SMEs. She has over 7 years of teaching and research experience and a visiting lecturer for various public and private universities in Sri Lanka. She is a graduate member and a subcommittee member of the Board of Quantity Surveying, Education, and Training of the Institute of Quantity Surveying Sri Lanka. She is also an associate of the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka. It's worth noting that her research interest includes lean construction, capacity building in construction SMEs, and sustainability development. Without further ado, I give the floor to our speaker, Mr. Rusha Ranadewa.
Thank you very much for your lovely introduction. So shall I share my screen first? I think you need to give me the permission.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, so welcome all of you and Amy, thank you very much for your lovely introduction once again. So we'll discuss about some of the facts, how we are going to enable lean in construction industry. So before we are moving further on lean, just have a look on this figure. It's a very famous figure in management practices. So what can you see? You have to look at the picture in different angles. Some people can see a granny. Some people can see a very beautiful young lady. So people looking at things in different views. They have different views down. In the same picture, people looking at in different views. So similarly, in the construction sector also, people looking at things in different ways. I'll show you a simple stat which I found from Smart Market Report 2013. So just have a look with this regard to construction processes in the construction industry. So this is this data were collected from the lean practitioners in the industry as well as the non-lean practitioners. Non-lean practitioners in the sense those who doesn't have a knowledge on lean. So lean practitioners believe that most of the construction processes are inefficient and highly inefficient. Just have a look. They believe that 62% believe that the processes are inefficient, whereas the non-lean practitioners believe nearly 55%, no, we are efficient. We are doing most of the work in a more efficient or highly efficient way. So that's why I said there are different views of the people. But actually, with this COVID-19 pandemic, the need for lean is cry out now. We need to look at how we can optimize our resources while compromising anything, right? So with that note, I'm moving to my presentation where I'm going to explain you about what is lean. That's the biggest problem. People didn't understood exact meaning of what is lean. So some people believe it as a silver bullet. No, it's not a silver bullet at all. We cannot do anything with one shot. And some people believe, some of the practitioners even, they believe it's as a magic. No, it's not a magic. You need some kind of effort to make it work. And also it's not a quick fix. Not a quick fix. You need some time, you need some resources, you need a considerable improvement day by day to make it happen. And in order to gain the desired outcomes through lean implementation. So people identify lean again as an idea, a perfection state. Some people believe it as a set of tools, a process, an operational strategy. Likewise, people identify lean in different angles. But let's discuss lean as a philosophy. So this lean philosophy mainly held by three pillars. The three pillars are maximizing value-adding activities, minimizing waste or non-value-adding activities, and the third one is the continuous improvement. You cannot just, but what happens in the construction industry is when there is a new techniques, new process improvement methodologies, you're trying to maximize the value, you're trying to minimize some of the waste, but continuous improvement will not be there. So lean is looking at all these three pillars in order to achieve the desired objectives. So as I said, we need to look at value, waste, and the continuous improvement. So first we'll look at what is waste or what is non-value adding activities. Now you have to see the waste. You all are looking waste when you are going to the construction projects. But if you wanted to implement lean, you need to look at the waste as you have never seen it before. It's not just the material waste that you have referred to. There are some other waste which will incur a huge cost as well as a time, which will cause a time overrun in the construction project. So that's why it's important for us to know about the 8 waste in lean. So lean, we define lean waste as any activity that uses resources without any value creation. So as I said earlier, there are 8 types that you need to understand. The first one is unnecessary transportation. So what are the unnecessary transportation that we can see in our projects? So the basic idea is only the unnecessary material movement that is not directly associated with the value adding process. So the main reason is the poor layout in the construction project, construction site. So sometimes there will be some large batch sizes, sometimes there will be some multiple storage locations. So likewise, in the beginning, if we have properly planned everything, we can minimize transportation. Because if there are unnecessary transportations, that means, again, cost overrun. It is a cost and it will affect the time as well. But when it comes to the construction industry, we clearly know time is a cost. It has a direct relationship. So if there are more additional unnecessary transportation within your sites, so it will be a reason to increase the cost as well as the extending the time duration of the project. And the next type is the motion waste. So the motion waste is about the unnecessary movement of people and equipment. So the transportation waste is about unnecessary transportation of material, but here it's about the people and the equipment. So again, the same thing, the proper layout, workplace planning need to be there. If you have properly planned your workplace, your construction site, you can reduce the motion waste. And third one, inventory, one of the important waste or non-value adding activities that we have to consider. So this inventory waste is the excess raw materials, the WIPs, and also the finished goods. We can see the finished goods everywhere in a construction site. So it's a huge cost because storing, it's money. It's all about money. So the main reason for having waste, inventory waste is the poor stock management. So if you can see on this one, this is what happened in the construction industry. So this is sea of inventory. So we have enough material in our construction site. So we cannot see the problems. The rocks, they are hide behind the sea of inventory. What are the problems? The quality problems in the material, or communication problem with the suppliers, and also the issues with the suppliers, employee availability. So likewise, there are thousands of other problems which are hidden under the sea of inventory. So that's why it's very important for us to remove this excess inventory. And if you are reducing the inventory, you are going to uncover the opportunities which you can improve. So again, opportunities will convert them into the cash. You can save a huge amount of money by removing unnecessary inventory from the site. But don't worry, I'm not going to say that we have to reduce it for zero. No, we can't. We can't eliminate. We can't eliminate inventory waste from the construction project, but we can minimize, right? We have to minimize. And the next one is the waiting waste, or waiting considered as a non-value adding activities. It is the ideal time that produces when two independent processes are not completely synchronized. So that's when we have to wait. For example, we have to wait for the parts, we have to wait for the parts from the suppliers, we have to wait for the instructions. So likewise, we have to wait. So we have to stop working from there. We cannot proceed. So that is an additional cost for the organization. The main reason is the poor coordination, which needs to be overcome through implementing a proper lean technique. And then another waste, defects. So this is very common, and I know you all are very familiar with this. So defects are production of defective work or corrections, where you are not meeting the specification at the first time. So that is very common in the construction industry, in construction project. So what are the main causes for this? The wrong information on the drawings, because they are not going to finalize the drawings in the beginning. So huge problem. And rework. So when there is a problem, if you are not working according to the given specification, you have to do it again. So again, it's a huge cost. And also incorrect schedules, inadequate training, and also the lack of capabilities of the laborers. So likewise, these will cause for the defects at the construction projects. And sixth one is overproduction. So overproduction says producing items earlier than needed or beyond specification. This is not that much common for the construction projects, but to some extent it is, because the reason there is the unstable schedules. If there are large batch sizes, people attend to work. Then the next person has to wait until he's finalizing with the work. Right? So because of that, overproduction is also affect to the cost and the time of the project. Then the overprocessing. You're taking unnecessary steps than the required in the specification. But think about the defects. This is with regard to the defects. If there is a defect, that means you have to do it again. You really have to do. If there is a problem with the inventory, if there are more inventories at your construction projects, you have to have multiple storage locations. So it is overprocessing. You are taking unnecessary steps. So the main reason behind this, the poor planning before we are starting the project. And the last one and most important one is non-utilization of human skill. So these are the 8 skills that we have that we are discussing under lean. So this last one, consider about yourself. Are we really working at our optimum capacity? If someone asks that question from me, I definitely will say, no, I'm not working at my optimum capacity, if I'm saying honest. So most of the cases, people from top management to the bottom, we are working 1 or 2 levels down from their true capabilities. Now consider about the bottom level workers, the laborers, those who are working on the site. We consider them as just a source of labor. We are not seeing them as true process experts because they are the one who's doing the business. We are just instructing them. So they sometimes, in some cases, they know better than us. We can learn a lot of things from them. But how many construction projects have actually getting a proper feedback from the laborers? Again, that is also a waste. We are misusing, we have not used that skills of the people. So in a construction project, we need to identify these waste from which we can improve our product quality. We can reduce the cost because cost is the huge issue in the construction project. So this waste, now, when I'm discussing about all 8 types, I mentioned that it is a cost. It will definitely affect the time duration because we are not calculating it. Especially when it comes to developing countries like Sri Lanka, we are not doing calculation, but there is a need to do some calculation and see how much cost reduction or how much cost reduction can be made by minimizing this waste in the construction project, how much of time that you can reduce by minimizing these non-value adding activities. So with that note, I'm moving to some kind of a spider web. So it's looking at this one, you might feels like a spider web, but it's not a spider. This is a root cause analysis, which I prepared for some of the waste or some of the non-value adding activities in the construction projects with regard to the Sri Lankan context. So I have applied a lean technique. There is a lean technique called 5 whys analysis, a very simple technique. What you have to do is when there is a problem, you have to continuously ask the why question. Why that happened? Why that happened? Why that happened? Until you're finding the root cause. So don't worry, I'm not going to explain this one, but what I wanted to highlight is this last part, the root causes, what I identified with regard to the Sri Lankan context for having this much of non-value adding activities. Lack of finance. Always people are saying that we don't have enough money to do this and that, to implement this and that. And then the insufficient training and to some extent cultural inertia and also lack of individual capacities, especially individuals, the employees, they have to have that positive attitude in order to implement lean and reduce these non-value adding activities in the construction projects. And also we really need a networking and collaboration. Now this is also, we are networking, we are trying to share what we know with each other, with our community. That is required. But what happens is in the construction industry, which rarely happens. Even we are offering them to participate, the construction professionals, especially at the bottom level workers, they are not involving it. And the other thing is lack of action learning. You have to do it. You have to do it and see what are the problems. Then only you are going to learn. So that's what we call as lack of action learning. So because of these root causes, there are a number of non-value adding activities in the construction projects. So what we can do to overcome these problems is mainly you need to apply lean principles. So different researchers, different professionals, they have identified different sets of lean principles. But this Womack and John's 5 lean principles, they are the most commonly used and easily adaptable lean principles for any industry. So I thought of today I'll be discussing about these 5. Basically, I'll go one by one. First one is you have to specify the value. Value in the perspective of the end customer, what he really needs. If you're working, let's say 2 workers doing, so you have to ask from the person, what do you really want? What is the exact size you want? So likewise, you need to get the value, you need to define the value because this value is very subjective from organization to organization, project to project, team to team, even to individual to individual. So in the beginning of a project, you really need to specify the value. What do you really want from us? What you are expecting from us? And then you will be able to identify what are the value adding activities. So value adding activities are the activities which transform materials and information into something that the customer would be prepared to pay for. The client is giving money, so he should be able to pay when we are transforming material and information to his desired thing. That's why specifying value is the first principle identified by Womack and Jones. Then the second one is identify the value stream. So value stream means you have to identify all the activity flow from raw materials to completed projects. All the activities in each and every processes need to be documented. Yes, of course, you all know about all the activities in the construction projects, but how many of you have properly documented it? If you have documented it only, you will be able to identify, okay, these activities we can remove it. So that's mean a non-value adding activities. By properly documenting the value stream, all the activities, you will be able to see the non-value adding activities. That's the second principle. Third one, making the value flow. So when you identify the value stream, you need to make the value flow without any interruptions, detours, backflows, waiting, scraps. So that's mean you'll be able to understand the bottlenecks, the problems, where the problem is. So what you can do is, so you can see, okay, if you are going, you can try the methods. You can try different techniques. Okay, if you have implemented this technique, we can overcome this problem. So they don't need to wait. Now just have a look on the given photograph here. So just an example with regard to batch processing and continuous flow. So if you are going with batch processing, okay, how many has to wait? What is the waiting time? If we are going with the continuous flow, still can we complete the required within the given time? So likewise, this is the comparison and try to implement some tools and techniques. And then, as I said earlier, while specifying value, the fourth principle is letting the customer pull. So what we have to make or provide is what is pulled by the customer. So just have a look on this figure. So the customer needs to require, he needs to ask, okay, can you give me this one? Then only you should, the supplier should give. So just have a look on this one. We call this one as the pull method. So what is happening in push method is we are pushing everything to the customer. For example, supplier is giving, okay, I have 100 of bricks, so you keep it and do the construction. That's not what we are expecting. Then again, if we are going with the push method, we have to face the inventory waste. We have to face. So we have to allocate some money for that, right? So that is the letting the customer pull. And the last one is trying to be perfect. Of course, we cannot go to the ideal state. So ideal state means 100% no non-value adding activities, only value addition in the field. No, that is not practical, but we need to continuously improve. The last pillar which I mentioned, continuously improve until you are going for the ideal state. So that is the 5 principles of Womack and Jones. So I hope you got a very basic idea. With the time limitation, I don't have time to explain in detail, but I hope you got a good idea. With that, I thought it's good to highlight some of the lean tools. There are thousands of lean tools which we can identify from the construction industry, but we cannot implement all. So what we have to do is we have to customize them to our requirement. It's very important. So what you have to do is, why you are not starting with 5S? This is the easiest and simplest technique which can be applied in your construction projects. So if you have implemented 5S, there will be increase of the visualization in the sites. So clean work environment, people will prefer to work. So there will be less amount of waiting. Sometimes you all are searching, let's say you are searching for an equipment. It will take sometimes ages. Right? But if you have properly a 5S implemented site, that will not be the case. You can improve day by day. What happened in the construction industry is most of the projects, they claim that they have implemented 5S. But actually what happened is they have maximizing value as well as minimizing waste. But they forgot the third pillar of lean, which is continuous improvement. They are not trying to continuously improve. They're not trying to implement new techniques, new methods to improve the fires at site. So that's the problem. That's the problem. Then another simple, very simple technique is value stream mapping. As I said earlier, the second lean principle is to identify all the steps in each and every process, So this value stream map is a special type of a flow chart that depict and improve the flow of inventory and information. Now, if you can see here, this shows the current state. So you have to analyze everything, you have documented everything. Then you have to use the lean principles and you have to identify what are the lean tools and techniques that can be implemented to this, the current process. Then you can remove non-value adding activities and you can make the value flow without any interruptions by properly implementing lean tools and techniques. Then third one, last plan system. So this is one of the commonly used lean technique or popular technique in the construction industry, even though there are some problems. So it is supports the realizations of plans in a timely manner. So if you can see it here, first we have to start with the master scheduling, then phase scheduling, then look ahead planning and weekly work plan. Likewise, you have to properly plan in a timely manner. But in most of the cases, in the traditional method, what happens is we are starting everything with a, maybe some kind of a feasibility meeting. So you have only meeting minutes. Then after you are starting, before starting the construction project, you're just preparing a master plan using a MS project. And then after that, we very rarely go for planning. But what last planner says, until you have to plan until you are meeting the last responsible person. He is the last planner. Sometimes this last planner will maybe a bottom level, a laborer, an unskilled laborer. So we have to plan until that last planner of the desired activity. So basically, I'll go into one by one and just give a rough idea about what is master schedule. So master schedule is the same thing as traditionally what we are preparing, right? So we are going to check the, we are going to make the milestone and identify the long leads. And then we have to go for phase scheduling. So comparing to master scheduling, phase scheduling is a little bit extended, a detailed version on what should be done. What should be done. But of course, 100% planning is not possible, right? So that's why we have to phase-wise do the planning. And then third one is look ahead planning. So when it comes to look ahead planning, it discusses about what can be done. Normally, when it comes to look ahead planning, we are preparing plans for 4 to 6 weeks, which has to be a reliable target for both the employees as well as the workers. So what we are going to do is, they are giving the task. So we are taking small set of groups and discussing, okay, what can be done within next 4 to 6 weeks? So what is the plan? What are the activities? So likewise, you are documenting everything and you are visualizing them to the people at the site. So it's very easily. So the visual management is very high when we are coming to look ahead planning stage. And then after that, we have to go for weekly work plan. So what will be done? So next week, what is the targets that you have to do? You have to do it in detail, not like what we are doing, what we did it traditionally. You have to give it detail based on specific people. So person by person, you have to say, okay, this is your part. So this is your KPIs, this is your RFIs. So likewise, you need to properly give each and everyone's weekly work plan. So that is important. So before 1 week, of course, we can do at least 95% accuracy we can achieve. And last stage of last planner system is formalized learning. What have you done? What was done? You have to do some calculation, which is PPC calculation. So PPC is person planned complete. You are just dividing what you have done with what you have planned. So if you can do this one, this is very easy for you to plan for your next projects. And also if there is a huge reduction of this percentage, what you can do is you can conduct a root cause analysis and find what are the problems. And then again, if there are problems, you can take remedial actions with your next project. So likewise, this is about last planner system, and it is very much useful to implement lean and get the desired benefits. And then another important one, target value design. So this is very much applicable for us, the quantity surveyors. So it's a management practice that drives the design and construction to deliver customer value within project constraint. So from our perspective, the main project constraint is cost and the time. That's obvious. So what you have to do is, rather than estimate based on the detailed design, why we are not going to design based on the detailed estimates? So that is the idea behind the target value design. And also, rather evaluating the constructability of the design, why you're not going to design for what is constructible? So that is target value design. So you can carry out solution sets during the design process whenever you need, which you can incorporate. So when it comes to target value design, there are some other techniques which is incorporated with target value designs. Definitely we have to use CBA, choosing by advantage method. It is something similar to cost benefit analysis, and also we can do some life cycle cost analysis, and we have to show that you can do it with this estimate. So the architect will not going to rule, but the QSs can rule. So we can say, okay, this is our estimate. So we can allocate this much of money for ground floor, this much of money for roof. So this is what you have to do. So you have to design within this one. But one person cannot do it by himself. The architect cannot do it. The QS cannot do it. The collaboration is required, especially if you are going with the integrated project delivery, IPD projects. It's very easy because all the parties working together in the beginning, from the feasibility onwards, they all are working together. So you can discuss with each other because there is a good collaboration between the stakeholders. So that's why this target value design is also, I think researchers have showed there's quite a lot of benefits that we can gain with regard to this project constraints. And with that, so that's all about the lean tools. I just took 4 tools, and this is also one of my research findings where actually during my research, during my PhD study, I identified more than 90 lean tools and techniques which can be implemented to the construction industry. This is with regard to the knowledge level or understanding of each lean tool and technique by the construction SMEs in the Sri Lankan context. So I need to specify this limitation. So if you can see, this dark green represent that they have a quite good knowledge, whereas this yellow color represent they don't have, or they don't have, they nil with the understanding or the knowledge. So for some techniques, they have quite a good understanding, good knowledge, but some techniques are very alien for them. With that, I'm moving to the next one, the same thing, but what I have shown here is the implementation. Now here, it is their knowledge on different type of techniques, and this shows their implementation at the project level, at the construction industry level. Actually, they have actually, some of them have not partially implemented what they have known because they are very afraid. They don't know about the benefits that they can be taken by properly implementing lean. So that's why it's very important for us to know the benefits. What are the main benefits that we can gain through lean implementation? Yes, of course, you can reduce the waste, you can reduce cost, time, reworks, and most importantly, stress. There's a huge stress when we are working at a construction site. Think about it, huge stress. But if you are working in a lean enabled environment, normally we consider, we consider lean culture or lean culture as a place where you can share everything with each other, everybody at equal levels. So we are not going to say, okay, we are top managers, you are bottom level workers, so we don't need anything from you. We are not like that. We all at the same level. So people prefer to give their feedback and also prefer to take the feedbacks as well. So if they are prefer to take the feedback from the others, so that means there's a very less amount of stress for them. Otherwise, what will happen? We always in a fear at the construction site. Okay, what will happen? What will happen? What will happen? Likewise. So similarly, we can reduce the stress at large if we have implemented a lean enabled environment. And also we can increase the productivity, profitability, safety, reliability. And also there is a chance to collaboratively working with each other. So people are willing to take coaching and review their work processes. They don't have any problems by highlighting their mistakes. So there will be a win-win partnership for everybody, each and everyone. There will be a win-win partnership. But there are some barriers. So I think this is also a very famous figure. You might have seen it almost everywhere. People are very stressed. People are very busy. 100% I agree. I say, we are too busy. We don't have time to know about these things. We don't have time to learn about these things. But actually, what we need to understand is they are something similar to these wheels, which will help you to smoothen or reduce the burden that you have. But actually, there is a 30% success rate in the construction projects with regard to lean implementation. 70% return to the original way of doing business. So we have to individually analyze and see why is that and how we are going to succeed with the lean implementation. So most important thing, which I have colored it in red, highlighted it in red, attitudes. We need an attitudinal change. That is this important thing. People needs to believe, because there are people resist to change. They believe, okay, we are doing in a great way. We are very comfortable with the way we are doing work. So why we need to change? We are doing work well. So why we need to change? So that is their problem. They need to understand the benefit or benefit they are getting for themselves as well as for the construction projects, and consequently to the construction industry. They need to understand this. And another thing, we have to have smart people in the work site. So smart people means we can't, they are not born with this smartness. We have to make the people smart. So how we are going to make the people smart? It is teaching, training, and we need to make or build a culture for continuous improvement. So let them to do mistake and learn from that. That is what we called as the lean culture. And also as a team, you have to be open-minded and supportive for each and every. And most importantly, you have to effectively use lean techniques along with changing mindsets. First, change your mindset, change your attitudes, and think, okay, these are the benefits I can gain, because you have to believe the philosophy. You need to get it into mind. Then nobody needs to advise you on how to do this, because you automatically you are doing your business to reduce non-value adding activities while maximizing value adding activities. And another thing is you have to allocate sufficient resources. So sufficient resources means not only money or cost, because sometimes they are highlighting that the cost of lean training is high, cost of lean experts are high. So likewise, they're highlighting. But why you are thinking about these high cost, expensive things? You can start with the simplest things, a very simple thing that you can start at your site. I'll give you a simple example, which I was unable to tell. Just go to your site every day and see what is happening around it. So in Japanese, they identify it as go to Gemba. Gemba is the place where the value creates. If you are not going to the site, you're not going to see anything. You need to go to the site, analyze the site, and identify the non-value adding activities by yourself. So you can customize the tools. You don't need to depend on the lean trainers. You don't need to really depend on the lean experts. You can customize your own methods. So that's why just get the philosophy, then you are going to automatically will adopt to that. And also becoming truly lean, it's a journey and will not be made without some discomfort, because initial stage, little bit difficult, but once you get used to it, it's very, very easy. That's the end of my presentation, and you all are free to ask any questions. Thank you very much. Yes, Amy, are you there? Okay, right. I'll make you the host. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Rusha, for your wonderful and very insightful presentation. So, okay, I've requested attendees for questions, but no one has sent me anything. So it seems that we all understand your presentation.
Very happy.
It's very insightful, actually, and we can learn a lot. Actually, the takeaway from this session is how, as quantity surveyors, we can actually introduce, if our projects or our company's construction site are not doing this lean tools, we can actually introduce this to them. But because simple things like going to site and then learning what's going on, then we can see some things are not properly in place. We can tell them, oh, if you just move that piece of wood, people can pass through and productivity will increase. So this is a very insightful topic. Thank you very much. Sir Quadwo, do you have any comments? Because Sir Quadwo is actually smiling. I think he likes the topic also. I saw him making notes and now he is smiling. So I think he is happy with what you presented to us. I think he's still reading his notes. Sir Quadwo, you can unmute yourself if you have some comments to Mr. Rusha's presentation.
Unmute.
He actually muted himself. Sir Quadwo, we cannot hear you because you muted yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm highly encouraged by this particular presentation. Lean construction is a new system altogether, even though it started way back in 1993. But the basis of all is value. Value. How we can maximize on value and minimize waste and continue to improve upon ourselves with all whatever we do, whether site activity or whatever. And I think I'm highly encouraged, and I will be a regular participant in your assemblies. I thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Rusha, before we end, there's just one question. This is from Mr. Ahmed Sakari. He asked, what if the organization is not easily adaptable to change? How can one go about it?
Okay, it's a very interesting question, Hamad. So what I can say is it's very difficult, especially when it comes to the top management, to impress. So what you have to do is you have to highlight. You can start with yourself. Now, let's say you are working at the mid management level. You can show, okay, why not we are implementing a 5S? You don't need to convince your organization to implement something like 5S. To analyze. Okay, the last technique which I mentioned, going to Gemba, going to the site. You really don't want your top management's permission to go to the site. You can show and you can showcase what is the improvements that you have gained after that. You can show, okay, these are the things that I have seen today. So these are the improvement activities. So everything, you can do it at your cabin itself. So what I believe is always, whatever the things you are doing, try to show it. Especially now, I don't know whether how many of you have heard about, there is another technique called A3 problem solving skill. So really you don't need the permission. What you are going to do is, when there is a problem, you are trying to summarize all the things around that problem in one A3 sheet. So it's one of the simplest way, and it's very easy for you. When there is some similar question, you can just go to there. What you have to do is just paste it in your wall. So really you don't need. So when the people realize the importance of these things, they will definitely come to you. They will say, okay, there really is a value. They need to showcase the value of implementing lean. I hope I gave you a answer, considerable answer. So the best thing is you need to understand the techniques, dear. Now, I'm taking some more time. let's take a small training. You can attend for a training to improve yourself. It is, you are going to give some value addition for your organization. So again, you are trying to be lean. So we really don't want to worry about the top management's consent. Thank you.
Correct. Correct. Thank you. Simple things like that that you can do by yourself. You are already
Definitely.
practicing lean. Mr. Rusha, one more. How is lean? This is from Nokia 8. How is lean better in value adding to other performance measurement frameworks?
Okay, so whoever you are,
Nokia 8.
whoever you are, yes. Now, I'm never going to say that lean is better than all the other things. That's the first thing I want to highlight. We can consider anything as lean. That's why I said even a training. Now, we are saying performance measurement frameworks. For example, let's consider about TQ. So all these things we can consider as lean. I told you, don't believe lean as just a set of tools, as just a management process, as just a performance measurement framework. No, it's not such thing. It's just a philosophy that you need to understand. I told you, you can customize your lean tools. When you are working in the site, when you got a problem, you can customize. Okay, these are the non-value adding activities. So this is what I need. So this is what I have to do. So next time, how I'm going to continuously improving. So that is what we call that as lean. So anything can be lean. Anything can be lean.
There are now two more questions, Mr. Rusha.
Hmm.
From Bola. Question, what are the basic emotional intelligence skills to have as an individual in a smart team managing the lean process of a project?
What are the basic emotional intelligence skills to have as an individual in a smart team managing the lean process for a project? So basic thing is you need to believe on others. You should be able to convey your vision, mission, your objectives, the works to the others in a more smarter way. Now what happened in the construction industry is we are trying to get the work done by anyhow. So that's not the case. So you should be able to, that's what actually happened in the industry. But what you should do is you need to very insightfully, very positively, you need to tell them, okay, these are the problems we are having. We know there are problems with the people. You have this problem. So why not we are implementing this one? You try it by yourself. Then we can do something. So likewise, positive attitudes are paramount. Positive attitudes is the first thing I believe that the person need to have in order to drive. And then the leadership skills. He should be a very good leader. He should be able to control the project, control the team members with the limited resources. You have limited time. Now, for example, let's say lean encourage taking morning meetings. Morning meetings means it's not like 1 or 2 hours meeting. It's just a 5 or 10 minutes meeting, just to tell them, okay, these are the things that you have to do. So do you have any problems last day? Or if not, do you have any problems which are going to happen in today? So likewise, you are talking, just show your interest towards the work and try to get their maximum out of them. I told you we are working 1 or 2 levels down from our true capability. So if you are a good leader, you should be able to get the work done in a more comprehensive way. Right, so that's what lean is all about. So actually there are some other attitudes as well, positive attitudes, changing mindsets, and also individual needs to believe on themselves. They have to trust. There should be trust between each and every parties. Very important. If you're not trusting one to another, then they're not going to share. They're not going to collaboratively work. Trust is again an important things to be considered. Yes.
There's one more
Yes.
from Sylvester Onuoha. Please expatiate more on the calculation of PPC.
Very simple as that. The PPC is percentage of planned completion. So what you have to do is you have to take, now let's say I'm going to, let's forget about the weekly plans. Let's say daily plans. You have allocated, let's say 8 things to be completed within the day, 8 things to be completed, but you have completed only 4 out of them. So it's 4 divided by 8. Just you have done only half That means you have completed only 50% of the works that is allocated. 50% of the work allocated. So what we have to do is 50%. Why that we have completed within, why we were unable to complete the rest. You have to do a root cause analysis, right? And identify the solutions behind that. That is easy as that. It's not just calculations of life cycle costing or estimating or something. No, because this 8 is a reasonable and reliable target. It should be now. As a team leader, I cannot give unrealistic targets for my fellow members. So what I should do is I should give some reliable, realistic targets. So I believe now you can do it. You can complete 8 things within 1 day, right? So that's what it's in the weekly work plan or daily work plan. But you have completed only 4. So there should be some problem because of that, right? So likewise, very simply.
Okay, any more questions before we end our session? Oh, there's one comment actually, just a comment, not a question, from Yemi Osisami. Thanks for the presentation. However, I am of the view that lean process can also be applied to consultancy services.
I want to add something for Yemi, not only for consultancy services, but you can add it to your day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life. Believe the philosophy, then you are trying to apply it everywhere, whether you're going some picnic, whether you are going to your university, you are going to construction place, project, try to apply, then it's very easy.
It's a way of life. If you, because as
Exactly.
as Mr. Rusha said, it's not, it's continuous improving to reach ideal state, to avoid waste, maximize value, not just for businesses, but for ourselves also. So thank you again, Mr. Rusha. Sir Coado is still smiling. I think he really likes your presentation.
Thank you very much. And I also want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my research findings, and also ICEC as well as IQSSL for giving me the opportunity. And also I would like to thank my 2 supervisors, Professor Yasangika Sandanayak and Dr. Mohan Sevardhana, for transforming me to a leaner person.
Ah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will try to be a lean person also, all of us, because of this very insightful presentation. Okay, before we end, and thank you again, Mr. Rusha. Sir Quadro, thank you for being part of our presentation and discussion this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you are in the world. Can everyone please open their video so we can take a group photo, please? Lots have turned their video off, so please turn it on so we can take some videos or photos, please. We'll just wait for everyone to open their video. Come on, guys, show your faces. We'll just take quick photos. Okay. So we have like 50 participants, so I'll take at least 2 screenshots, okay? Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then the next page. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone is safe, healthy. Thank you, Mr. Rusha. Bye all. Sir Quadro, bye. Bro Aaron, bye. Bro Bola, bye. Thank you again.